Hello viewers, science says that we humans do not understand ourselves as well as we think we do. As a human, I am sure that you do not probably understand yourself as well as you understand others in most of the cases. Why so? We humans have explored the planets, we humans have explored the galaxies, the World Wide Web, the Internet of Things, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning. So many developments are done by humans. Then why we could not study ourselves? Why we could not study that how humans can identify their preferences? The answer is very simple. We humans cannot see ourselves. Whenever you are talking to someone, you can see their facial expressions. Most of the cases we think about others. We think about the external worlds. Even when someone asks us that who are you, we say that we are, or I am a banker, or I am a telecom professional, or I am a doctor, I am a professor. These kind of things we tell to the others. What is inside us, that is something which is least explored. And still in science, at some extent, we rely on the theories which are not verified. What happened in the science, that in many centuries before last century, the humans used to say that whatever human eye can see, that exists. Then later on, in the Einstein era, people started realizing that those things which we do not see also exist. If you are a researcher, if you are a PhD doctor, then you must be aware that I am talking about post-positivism. So now, to make it extremely simple that how you can know yourself and what so far we know in the science, I would like to share with you some things through which you can know yourself in a better way. So the first thing is that getting the distance from the problems helps you to know yourself. Let me tell you one thing. A study conducted in 2013 says that if we humans let go the things, we do not indulge our conscious in solving the problems in which we are unable to find the solutions, our subconscious somehow gets the solutions. If you listen to the motivational speakers or many people, they say they write a daily journal, write something on daily basis, do the self-reflection in the evening every day. Well, these kind of things over the years have not proved to be the most effective thing. Why? Because you put pressure on your conscious. You are continuously suffering. If we study the humans, the most successful humans in the history, they were not keeping a journal, they were not doing the self-reflections. For example, if Nelson Mandela did the same while staying inside the jail for 30 years, he would not have forgot his revenge. He would have written that today I am in jail for 30 years continuously every day. And what would have been his objectives? When he came out of the jail, he said that I am forgetting whatever happened in the jail. Today I will focus on the unity of my nation of South Africa. And if we study the Lincoln, he failed many times. He failed as a carpenter, he failed in the politics many times. Then he became the president of United States of America, and he ended the slavery. He presented the slavery bill, and he is part of the history. So he was not keeping a journal. He was not continuously reinforcing the goals on himself. So the point is that the inside human body, there is one supercomputer that records everything, okay, and that recording goes into the subconscious. For example, when you see someone and you say that this person is a good person, it's not like this person is a good person, only your eyes are working in it. Your computer, the supercomputer so far humans could not develop, and it is very difficult to create because we humans are the best creation on earth. So This supercomputer is not identified that much. This supercomputer runs many algorithms. This supercomputer runs many queries and then tells you that this person is not good. Whenever we see someone, we identify his name. This supercomputer runs and links him, and we see that person. And even we read the facial expressions of the people. That is something comes from the supercomputer. So first thing is letting go helps you. I all the time say that practice does not make things better. Practice makes things permanent. Practice makes things permanent. In a world where everything is changing continuously, the skills are continuously changing, practicing something continuously and being rigid in that thing ultimately leads into failure or leads into a success. Leads into a success at marginal level, not on the higher level. So this was the first thing which science says. I'm sure you can see this study on your screen. Coming towards the second thing which will help you in knowing yourself, and that thing is that if you think you are flexible, if in your mind you convince yourself that you are a person who is flexible, then you become successful, and then you sometimes do not take the failures on yourself. What is happening in our society these days? Somehow some people become popular and then they started giving the motivation lectures to the people, and these motivation lectures are having the negative impact on the humans, on the students, on even the people in the industry. These days people are frustrated, extremely frustrated, and the reason behind this is that they say, write on the on a diary or on a notebook something that you're going to achieve this thing. That is it, in 1 year, and within 1 year you have to achieve it in any case. And just in case they fail in that 1 year, they go into depression. They fight with their colleagues, they are in the depression, they are in the anxiety, and they're continuously judging themselves and continuously being so rigid on their failures that they start hitting others. So the point is that having an objective is some vision, and it most of the time takes time. And gratitude is a feeling which you forget the gratitude feeling if you continuously go to a goal and look into it and look into it and look into it continuously. You must be flexible enough to appreciate yourself. You must be flexible enough to appreciate other people's around you by setting a goal, and you should not be rigid in that goal as the things are changing, as the requirements are changing. For example, if I want to be expert in MySQL query language, let's say I decided when I was in my 20s that I'm gonna be expert in the MySQL and this software language. Today we know that Python is a new language, so let's say if I'm rigid in that thing, so I will not be recognized today. Things which get outdated, there's no point to be rigid on the things. So you have to today you set your mindset that you are flexible, you are someone who accepts the change, you will perform better, and this must be taught to our children so that they do not suicide on getting lesser numbers. Okay, the other thing is the other point you must know is that your people around you know you better in some cases, or even the strangers know us better. Why? Because they can see our facial expressions, they can see our actions. So in case you are feeling something not good in some cases, then you can ask for the advice. The advice has been something which is being used since many centuries. There's no point to be rigid, there's no point to think that, oh, I know everything, I'm not going to ask anyone. So you want to know about yourself, you ask the feedback from other people, because they know better in some cases about you, because they can see us, they can see our actions when we cannot see. We need a mirror to see ourselves, and even in mirror we are biased. We want to see ourselves good, while the others can tell us the reality, that what is in us and what needs to improve. So you want to know yourself, you ask others about yourself. And one more point, that is that our own identity is somehow distorted. We think we are empathic, but sometimes our empathy ends when we goes by a homeless person. We can see a homeless person sitting on the street, but still we do not help him. So somehow we, in some cases, we can say. And there is one aspect, which the other point is linked with it, that we most of the time deceive ourselves. There is one psychological impact, that is Dunning-Kruger impact, that is cognitive bias, that we see ourselves good. We as a humans, we see that we are honest. As a humans, we say that our integrity is very high. We do not think about others, and somehow we have a bad image of others, and we have a good image of others. We are very good judges when it comes to the others, and we are good advocates when it comes to ourselves. So a study was conducted in the USA, in the University of California. I'm sure you can see that study on the screen, and that was that they gathered some people and they asked them that the attributes will appear on the screen, and your job will be to click that button. For example, the extroversion will appear on screen, you have to click it. The early you will click it, you are smarter. So they told them that those people who click early on their, for example, extrovert appear, if you clicked on it, so it will be like you are an extrovert. So they had the option of introvert and every option. So when people were not told that if you click it early, then you are a smarter person, they were clicking it in a normal way. Then they were told that those people who click it early, as early as possible, they are the smarter people. So what people did, that they started clicking on it as early as possible, just to appear smart, just to appear wise person. And later on the same study was repeated, and the people were told that those people who click or who knew their characteristics as early as possible, they were dumb, they were not the wiser people. So people were performing very low just to prove themselves. So we deceive ourselves in some cases, because this attribute is inside us, that we want to see the good version of ourselves. This is an extremely important point. This is related to something which is least talked, and I would like to share it. And that is that whenever you are insecure, whenever we are uncertain on something, whenever we are weak, we behave ethically rather than unethically. So this is something which helps us in the later on. This is something, those people who are in depression, those people who are in anxiety know their reality. They are most of the time 100% sure. Those people in the good situations, we overestimate ourselves. So the depression, the anxiety, the sad moments have also a positive side, and that is that in those moments we realize ourselves, we understand ourselves. Whenever you are depressed, whenever you are sad, then chances are that at that time you must be looking the exact version of yourself, and at that time you will not harm anyone else. You will try to behave ethically, because you are getting the real you're getting your real self. So these are the things which I wanted to share today about the personality of human selves, how you can identify yourself. If there's any point I missed, please let me know in the comment section, so that I will make another video on it, and I will tell you about that point. The basic thing is that you have to think on yourself, you have to let things go, you have to be flexible, you have to ask others about your opinions. Whenever you are depressed, leave those things. And the most important thing is that never ever think that, okay, one other thing is that we humans think we are better in the skills than we actually are. Those people who think that they are better, most of the cases they rank themselves higher than the others. So those people who think they're not good, they rank themselves in a better way. You have to be the self-critique, and this is the psychology trait of psychology, that whenever you see someone who is gonna be successful, who is gonna grow, so the first step of himself will be criticizing on himself. So he continuously criticizes himself, that this is something which is not good in me, this is something which is not good in me. As a person, if you criticize your work, if you think that, okay, this thing is wrong in me, when something goes wrong and you see in yourself, it means that you are on the right path to success. You will be successful as per the science. So I hope, I wish you good luck. I want you to be successful, and I want you to be a humble person. I want you to be a flexible person. I don't want you to say that you are great and rest of the people are not great. When you say that you are the great, you are the best, which unfortunately some unscientific, I would say, some trainers, some motivational speaker, because of some aspects, might be at their era these things were important, that motivating the people just by words. Whenever you listen a motivational speaker, sometimes you feel motivated and after some time again you feel depressed. The reason behind this is that they are not they are not pushing you to see inwards. They want you to see outwards and feel boosted. For them it is very good because people attend their sessions and pay for them, but for you it's very bad. Sometimes you get the high dose of dopamine. Dopamine is a kind of hormone we need whenever we feel happy. Even in social media, we need we listen something good, we get the dopamine. You get the dopamine highest level, and then you go home and then you are not finding it. So you have to understand yourself, and that is the key to the success. And I would say, whatever I studied so far in science, the science is incomplete. The science could not identify the best selves of the humans so far. We hope the science will get better, the social sciences will get better. We have focused on the objects which we could see. It is very easy to search on artificial intelligence. It is very easy to search on the planets and galaxies. It is very difficult to study humans. In humans, you can study their diseases, you can study their actions, hands movement and these kind of things, but this supercomputer is not studied so far, and that's the best computer, and we humans so far cannot even imagine the possibilities when we will enter into this. So now this is happening in the science, that people are continuously going towards this side, mining this side. So let me give you an example what was happening in the history. This is for the research students, they must be aware that whenever we eat something, whenever we feel something, you can see me eating that thing, but you do not know, am I satisfied with that food or not? Will I recommend that food to others or not? Okay, before 1900, the researchers were not measuring it. They used to say, okay, food exists, okay, the science is still here. And then later on people started asking, you liked our food, do you recommend it to others? So how you are measuring it? By asking, who is telling that thing? This supercomputer is telling this thing that I will tell to the other people. So we humans are on this side. We are exploring the human intentions, the human possibilities, from where our future thoughts are coming, what a person can think in a next moment. Science so far is not able to predict this, what I will think after 2 years. Okay, there is no such thing. What computers will think. Okay, that supercomputer is easy to run. Whatever I will give the command to it, that will do the same thing, but this supercomputer probably will not do what others are thinking about it. So we humans, sometimes our goals are complete mystery to us. We do not know our goals. We think that we are. And another thing I just remember, and that is that identify your true self. That those people who identify their true self are most of the time successful. Let me make it with an example very clear. A study was conducted in USA on a person who was attracted to the same sex. His name was Mark, M-A-R-K, Mark. The Mark study was that he was attracted to the same sex, and he used to somehow avoid or somehow restrict himself towards this temptation. He was successfully managing to control his emotions towards the same sex, and he was not a gay, but at the same time he was against the same sex couples. So the researchers studied him, and they came to know that this person is not actually a gay. Might be there is some disorder, the psychological disorder, which is pushing him towards the temptation. So in other words, his true self was not homosexuality. He was not gay in his true self, but because of some disorder, because of some conditioning, this thing happened to him. So in most of the cases, we humans do not know our true self. Our true self might be that I am a guy who is right-handed, who loves the music, who loves the art, but somehow I lived in the people who were dealing with the numbers, the logics, and somehow I got conditioned with the logic, but my true self is in the numbers. Sometimes people become the logical people, the logical numbers, and then they go into the art. And this is a completely different field, that what skills humans have and what kind of field they should adopt. In future probably we will be able to identify that thing. I will share those things with you, that how humans can identify themselves. So there's work of one professor, one psychologist from Stanford University, Dweck's work. I will also share that with you. So let me conclude this video, because we have talked about many things, and now you must be thinking that what things you can take as notes, you can remember. First thing is that we have to ask from others that what about your personality, because they can see you speaking, they can see your expressions. Second thing is that we most often deceive ourselves. We want to look good, we are biased, cognitively biased about ourselves, we feel honest. Nobody want to see want others to ask him that you're not generous, so we want to be generous. So the point is we deceive ourselves. We have to cover it by obviously asking others, we have to cover it by letting things go. Other thing is that practice makes the things permanent, it does not improve the things. So we have to focus on it, that how we can let the things go and how we can push our subconscious. Going on walk or maybe leaving the things if things are not happening is the best strategy to adopt it. Okay. And fourth point, I would say that think that you are flexible, you will be flexible. And the other thing is depression, uncertainty is not a bad thing. Whenever you are sad, you know real self of you. And the other thing is that whenever you are uncertain or insecure, you also behave ethically. These are the points which I hope helped you in identifying yourself. Look at your inner self and leave the things. Do not focus on the external things that much. External things less matters. Do not be rigid in your goals. Set a vision that you want to be successful, and you want to be successful, then change your plans. If you study the successful people, that they continuously change their plans. If you look at the Gandhi, he was a lawyer in the earlier days. If you're watching from Pakistan, if you look at the Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he continuously changed his objectives. He was with the Congress, and later on he joined Pakistan Muslim League just to achieve his objectives. If you look at the Lincoln, he started the business, then he came into the politics, he failed, then he changed his things with the passage of time. So all the successful people in the history, if you look at them, they were having an ambition, an aim, but they were not rigid in their practices. Do not get angry on others. If you have started criticizing yourself, then it means that you are on the path to the success. I wish you good luck. I wish you success in your life. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it with other people so that they also get benefit from whatever we humans so far know about ourselves. Thank you.